guys, welcome to another episode of Versus. Man, we have a good one tonight. That's right. Before we get into that, guys, do me a favor. Subscribe. That's right. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now so you can know about every Versus or everything entertainment news or video that we release. You got to know about it, but you're not going to know if you don't subscribe. Subscribe. Okay, we're done. Okay, subscribe. Okay, we're done. Okay, subscribe. Okay, guys. Tonight we got Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead versus The Suicide Kings. Two fantastic Christopher Walken movies. Yes, he's in both movies. They're both fantastic. They're 90s movies that are just great. And to help me break these movies down, we have
Tiny Curtis. I can't hear you, brother. Can you hear me?
Why was I muted? That's weird. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can now. We're good to go.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, growing closer every day. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing wonderful. I'd just like to point out, I don't know if you're outside of Texas, you might not be able to get it, but look for, oh, that's terrible.
It's a green can. That ain't gonna work for you.
It's
buddy.
a green can. It's a pickle beer. If you're like me and you love pickle juice, it's funny. Whenever I was a kid, we would make pickle pops. We were poor, so we would take the pickle juice that was left over from the pickle jar and pour it into ice trays and put popsicles in it, and then make pickle pops and suck on them. And so I love pickle juice. And this is Best Made, the actual pickle company, and it's from Fort Worth Brewing Company, or no, Martin House Brewing Company in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a sour pickle beer. It's very good. Definitely give it a shot, guys.
Give it a shot. There you go.
That being said, free sponsor. I'm doing great.
Hell yeah! This episode is brought to you by Pickle Rick. Man, we got two fantastic movies that I saw when they came out. I saw them way back in the day, and I forgot all about them. Honestly, like I knew Dennis Leary. There's a few lines like buckwheats and what's a busket, or give me the fucking busket that I remembered, but I couldn't remember these movies at all. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a trip down memory lane, and that's the fun thing about this show is sometimes we're visiting newer movies, sometimes we're visiting old movies, old treasures, and we're living in a world now where you have things like the Elvis movie putting a 12-year-old book back in the Amazon bestsellers list, or you got Kate Bush coming back in the spotlight now, charting because of Stranger Things. You got us bringing up,
or Paul Reiser,
or Paul Reiser, a blast from the past,
coming up strong, baby.
And now you got us bringing up old movies back into the spotlight, and
we're like the Paul Reiser of YouTube.
We're like the Stranger Things of YouTube.
The seasons with Paul Reiser.
Let's talk to the cast real quick. See how everybody's doing. See if we got everybody back. Anybody back? We got Bobby. Yeah, he did it again. He hit the stupid air horn. That's right. Oh boy, we got Mel.
Tiny Curtis.
Yeah.
In the wine.
Well, yes, sir. We got Bakertown. I'm sure Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sure Clink will be back.
Yeah, we'd been talking about doing some mafia movies for a while. We'd hit certain genres, and we're trying to hit the ones. I know people have been waiting for some movies and stuff like that, but we're trying to hit the ones that we haven't hit necessarily yet. But we wanted to hit mafia movies, and we were kind of talking about, we're like, we can always go with the classics, or the heavy hitters, but these are two really good ones that we think are underrated. They're kind of not off the wall, but they're not classic mafia movies like you think of them, but they're definitely mafia movies. So we wanted to kind of test the waters with that and see how it goes. They're both very good movies. but like, yeah, we'd been wanting to get into that genre, and you know,
Here's some things we got
Jason.
coming. We got,
Yeah.
looks like we're going to have a little Quicksilver versus Premium Rush.
Mhm.
That's a movie about bike messengers. That's 2 movies about bike messengers. That's the only 2 movies about bike messengers right there.
Indeed,
Yeah, definitely. Quicksilver.
it's like Highlander. Only one can win.
That's right, and definitely Quicksilver was influenced by Premium Rush. That's facts. We're gonna have we're gonna have Memento versus Clean Slate. 2 movies about losing your memory. Huh. That's right. Hey, and I just got a notice from my insurance company. You need to pay your bill, dummy. Oh, my bad. We got a whole bunch of fun stuff like let's see I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look at our
And
text history.
and I remember one on there, Mel. We do have Annihilation versus Arrival on the list. It
That's
was definitely on the list. So
Yeah, let's see. These are all potentials. These aren't set in stone.
Right.
I got The Arrival versus Annihilation. I got Napoleon Dynamite versus Office Space. I got Anchorman versus Dumb and Dumber. I got Euro Trip versus European Vacation. I got Road Trip versus Vacation. I've got Office Space. This is another possibility versus the Belko Experience. I don't even know that movie, but Curtis said we need to make that happen.
yup.
Memento versus Clean Slate. Daybreakers versus Life Force. Goodfellas versus Donnie Brasco. And Highwaymen versus the Newton Boys. So that's a whole bunch of potential future episodes that we have in the books, in the text history that I can always go back to. So we'll see which ones of those. Mel says Premium Rush was phenomenal. Yeah, you should have seen Quicksilver. That's a Kevin Bacon version of that movie. So that's gonna make that one fun. But let's get into Suicide Kings and things to do in Denver when you're dead, and read some synopsi, and maybe even go over a little trivia. Suicide Kings, man. This movie was something. This movie really highlighted how great Christopher Walken is an all-star cast. You got Christopher Walken, Dennis Leary, is fantastic in this too, and that's another interesting thing about this movie is when you look at the trivia. It says, with the exception of the Mickey Mantle speech, Dennis Leary improvised all of his dialogue in this movie, which is just impressive because he's got some great stuff talking about his shoes and talking about the Irish thing and before he does the toaster bit and all that. Apparently, he improvised all of his dialogue in this movie. That's awesome. And then you got Christopher Walken, who is just fantastic, who just runs the room in every scene. He's almost delighted. He's a hostage in this movie, but he's almost amused by the whole thing, and it's really fun to watch him. Christopher Walken's so great. You got Jay Moore who is in it. You got Henry Thomas. You got Sean Patrick Flannery, who I've met in person. Jeremy Sisto and Johnny Galecki. You got Brad Garrett. It's a great cast in this movie. You got Sean Whalen, which is the poor man Steve Buscemi. And so let's just read the synopsis real quick. Which Avery, who's Henry Thomas, Max, who's Sean Patrick Flannery, and 2 friends, all wealthy men in their 20s, kidnap former mafia boss Charlie in an attempt to pay $2 million in ransom to the unrelated kidnapping of Avery's sister. Their plan runs into trouble at every turn, and with the help of Charlie's psychological manipulation, the men begin to suspect that one or more among them was involved in the first kidnapping. Man, this movie came out in 1998 and directed by Peter O'Fallon. Yeah, it was great. What did you think about this movie, Curtis?
Uh, I had seen this movie before. I didn't remember. Good for me. I didn't remember the ending. Um, it's a very good film, but not remembering the ending. Like once I saw the ending, in my opinion, ruins it.
Ruins the whole movie?
It just in a way like not the whole movie. The other performances throughout the movie are great, but the ending, the ending's kind of a big deal, and like it's just not. We'll go into it in a little bit, but like the ending is what kind of kills it for this movie. The performances are good for most people, great for some. Um, but it's a really enjoyable film. Like it just Christopher Walken's interaction with the rest of the cast is spectacular, and that's the thing. I want to chart Walken's career because I can't remember a time when Walken wasn't Walken, and I want to go back and look at some films where it's like he wasn't Christopher Walken yet, because he's just in every film nails it so well. And actually, we'd got to do something with the prophecy. Like not the prophecy. The first prophecy is good, but like the prophecy 3, where he's just sitting around on trash eating chicken, like, and he's just getting paid. It's like it's amazing. like, but uh, but like the interactions, the movie itself is good, and then at the end, like you were saying, it's kind of like somebody's college. I don't know if you said that on air, but somebody's kind of college art house movie. Like at the end, they just do a little too much, in my opinion. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But overall, I mean, it's like it's definitely worth watch and definitely worth a rewatch, even if you have seen it before.
Yeah, there's some interesting things where they're like, oh man, it's just like weird overacting from people that had pretty good careers. So it's just kind of weird how everyone is acting. It's you know what I mean? It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Dennis Leary and Christopher Walken shine in this movie, and everyone
Yes,
else is solid, but it's I don't know.
but it's not the same. It's not. You can see they're growing into something, whereas Dennis Leary and Christopher Walken are there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And these other guys, I think, have probably learned a lot working with those two, and went on to have pretty good careers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about things to do in Denver when you're dead. Again, well, you got Christopher Lloyd in this. You got Andy Garcia, who's fantastic. William Forsythe's a great actor too. Gabrielle Anwar, who is just delightful. She's in Burn Notice. I've always had a thing for her too. She's fantastic. We got Fairuza Balk, who played an excellent crackhead or whatever she. Yeah. We talked about her with the Craft recently. You got Jenny McCarthy. I think this was her on-screen movie debut.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Don Cheadle. You got so many people.
Treat Williams
Bill
in there
Nunn.
is one of his best roles.
Yeah, this is a fantastic cast, fantastic movie, and unexpected ending on this movie too. And it's fun. This is a tragic movie, and Andy Garcia is very likable. Jimmy the Saint, and you're rooting for this guy and all kinds of negligence basically around him. He's surrounded by dummies, but he's such a good guy that he's supports them and stands by them, and has to deal with the repercussions of a bunch of dumbasses. All this guy wants to do is have a legitimate business and stuff. Ex-crook Jimmy the Saint, Tosnia, who's played by Andy Garcia, trying his best to go legitimate until he's dragged back into the world of crime for one last seemingly simple mission. All Jimmy and his eccentric cronies have to do is intimidate their target, but they make a disastrous series of mistakes that result in the death of a woman connected to a powerful gangster. Before long, Mr. Shh, who's Steve Buscemi, a notorious assassin who never slips up, is sent to take down Jimmy and his partners. Yeah. So, bunch of guys hired to do a job. They screw up, kill somebody that's important to the son of the head mob boss. The head mob boss is Christopher Walken, and he's a real son of a bitch in this movie, big time.
Two alternate roles too, because in Suicide Kings he's a pretty decent dude.
Pretty likable.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. I watched Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead first, and then I went and watched Suicide Kings, and then I'm almost kind of caught off guard by how he's just putting up with all this crap, because he's a badass in the first one.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, really? These guys are still alive? Like, what the hell's going on? But it was cool. It was cool watching him ask questions and talk to these guys, and you could tell he was fishing for information. You could see his wheels turning and watch him manipulate these young 20-somethings, which is funny, because when you're in your 20s, you think you know it all, and you're really stupid. And if you're a wise old guy like Christopher Walken, it's really easy to manipulate somebody. So it's pretty cool. I enjoyed both films. Curtis, which one did you like better?
I got to go with Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. I appreciated that movie so much more this time around than I did the first time I'd seen it. There's so much more symbolism that I didn't notice the first time. Obviously, the movie is called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. And the movie starts out with Andy Garcia, and he has a business. He got out of the mob, and he's got a business where he records people that are terminal and for their families, and so they can talk to their families after they're dead through these recordings. That comes back later in the film, but the basic thing is like these guys are going to die. They tell you from the title of the movie, and but they lead up to it in all these ways. Like these guys are going to die. Like this is their story. They're already dead, just like the terminal patients, but they're going to die. And there was a lot of stuff, whenever Treat Williams, and I think Treat Williams, who is an actor that I don't care for that much. He's been in a lot of stuff I like, but I'm not to be mean, but it's just this is his best role. This is where he played Critical Bill, the crazy guy, and like he did it so well. And there's the scene, and it kind of clicked. He's talking about the man with the plan, who is Christopher Walken, the head mob boss, and he's like, he's just the head. He's nothing. He's just the head. He's just the head. And then at the same time, they have him in a wheelchair where he's literally just a head. He can't move anything. Like stuff like that clicked this time around, and having Mr. Shush, the quietest person in the movie, and Mr. Spoiler alert, but Mr. and Critical Bill, the loudest person in the movie, basically kill each other. Was this great composition where they had, basically, again, the quietest and the loudest, like they cancel each other out. And just like that aside, this is such a good film. If you haven't seen it, it is a mobster film, but it's a non-traditional or whatever mobster film, however you want to look at it, but it's great.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I enjoyed it a lot. I also, I really did enjoy, I think I might have liked Suicide Kings better.
Ooh.
Because like for one, Dennis Leary, I just get a kick out of him. Not always, like over the years I've gotten he's toned down, and I've kind of gotten over his persona that he throws on, the fast talking Irish guy, hey, okay, blah blah blah, just real fast talking dude. And it's kind of almost, I won't call it a shtick. That might just be who he is, you know what I mean? But like, he used to do the caricature of himself on MTV way back in the day, and they used to have little clips of him talking and doing his thing. And then he had No Cure for Cancer, which was his comedy record, that cassette
blew up. Yeah,
that I had. He became a huge star from that. And then later on he went on to have Rescue Me and other things and acted stuff, but this was like right peak of his career. And me and me and my friends, we listened to that No Cure for Cancer cassette we used to drive around listening to it, and he was hilarious.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's super funny, but real fast talking dude. Um, he cracks me up. There's a scene in this movie where he goes in and there's this girl getting beat on. He goes and gives a speech to the stepfather or whatever that's beating on his stepdaughter, a drunk Irish guy. He goes tells him about his own grandfather came off the boat from Ireland and then passed the gene on down to his dad, and this and that. Comes home, finds his mom, and the lights are all out, and finds his mom has been hurt, and he goes and takes the Louisville Slugger that was in the bedroom and beats him, tattoos him, he says, and tells this story. And the guy that he's telling the story basically, if you mess with this girl ever again, I'm gonna tattoo you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Tells him to fuck off. And he goes and just wraps the cord of a toaster around his hand and beats the hell out of him beats him down with a toaster. Of all items to beat somebody, to get just brutally beaten down with a toaster. And it just showing this movie is kind of campy most of the time, but then it's got some moments where it's like a serious mob movie, and then sometimes it's not. It's like it's a little bit campy, which is kind of weird. Because you could have taken Christopher Walken and Dennis Leary out and put him in a Godfather style, like serious mob movie, and it would have worked. You know what I mean? But then you get all these kids where it makes it a weird, campy thing over. Oh, you spilled something on mom's rug, or you're drinking out of dad's blah 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 out of his booze, and they're real campy, not very realistic. But the dark element, the mob element of this movie was, and I don't know. And again, I really enjoyed certain things that they would do. You would see Christopher Walken's face light up, and almost like he was amused by. It's like such a good actor. There's things that they would say, and his reactions were just priceless. And so I think that's why I enjoyed this movie so much. I really enjoyed Andy Garcia's character in the other movie, but I think I had more fun watching this movie. So there you go. Yeah, we can't agree all the time. Let's see here. Let's see here. I saw according to Jenny McCarthy, Wahlberg, during an interview on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, Christopher Walken smelled like formaldehyde and nibbled from an apple that had turned brown, which he kept in his pocket. That's apparently when he was in character, he nibbled from an apple and smelled like from the red convertible that Andy Garcia drives is a 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royal. Nice. Her bit part became the final feature film appearance for Harriet Medine, ending a film career of almost 50 years. Okay. Treat Williams' character inspired the name for the Detroit-based band Critical Bill. This was Jenny McCarthy's debut. What other? Okay. And this movie, Christopher Walken's character says at one point, maybe I decide to be a stand-up guy, and 17 years later, he plays a stand-up guy in the 2012 Stand-Up Guys. Okay, well, that's enough trivia. That was terrible.
Yeah.
The name, the character name, Jimmy the Saint, is taken from the 1973 song "Lost in the Flood" by Bruce Springsteen. So that's
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, for Suicide Kings, it's not much better. It says the shot on the TV, Heckle and Jekyll in the apartment, was actually snipped from Reservoir Dogs because the director could only use stock from his own, or owned by the Artisan Entertainment. But then it also says Walken appeared in The Dead Zone, 1983. His role was frequently parodied by Jay Moore on Saturday Night Live. Cast member Sean Patrick Flannery appeared in the television series The Dead Zone 2002. So
There you go.
there you go. You
Well,
got a
that's
through line, baby.
That's our trivia. So I got an idea. Let's move on to game time. What do you say?
It's game time, baby.
All right. Here we go, gang. We got Suicide Kings versus Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Oh boy, what a knockout. All right. Yeah, what a knockout. They're talking about Gabrielle Anwar. Yep. All right, the points right now. We got 1-1.
1-1.
1-1.
Making it on the show, guys.
Yep. All right. Boom. Who had the best story? Who had the best story? That is the question. Curtis, what do you think?
I'm gonna say Denver. First of all, when was any other time you've seen a movie about mobsters in fucking Denver? But like to me, Suicide Kings may have won this one. It just got a little too convoluted towards the end, in my opinion. And Denver was fairly simple, but intricate at the same time. And so I'm gonna go Denver.
All right. Poopsie said you had me at formaldehyde apples. Hey, but we lost Bobby for first time ever. I'm gonna bail. Haven't seen either movie. Uh-oh.
Check them out.
Yeah, check them out. They're good.
Have fun, Bobby. We love you.
Yeah. Better story? Well, you got one's a story about a former mob guy that gets pulled back in by the mob,
which is fairly standard. Like that. That part's fairly standard.
Gets hired to do a job, screws it up, and then has everything destroyed around him. Then you got the other one where it's
not at all standard.
Not at all. I gotta go with Suicide Kings is a better story. I think.
I mean, I would.
These guys kidnap a mob boss, and you end up with a clue situation where you're trying to figure out the whole time who is the bad guy, who's conspiring against their friend, and like. And that it had that Knives Out feel for a little bit, where they got you looking around the room to see who's involved. Then at the end, it gets resolved. I don't think you liked that Christopher Walken wins at the end and takes people out.
No, I'm fine with that part.
Hey, there's a kid roaming around the movie theater.
Find your seat, son. What's up, buddy boy?
Yeah, you said you didn't like how the ending went.
Yeah, I was fine with that part. And that's I agree. Suicide Squad had a
Suicide Kings?
better. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Suicide Kings had a had a better story, a more unique story, and it really, it could have been here, and then they threw in all this stuff at the very end that made it like right here. Like it just
like what?
Okay. So here we go. So yes, one of the best things about the film is that Christopher Walken hears early on from his contact that it was an inside job. Okay. And so you're trying to figure out who it is. Jay Moore's guy is too much of a red herring. Like he's just out there in your face, like that's going to be the guy. So you know it's not him. So you're trying to figure out who it is, right? And then once it comes down to it, spoiler alert for a 20-year-old movie or whatever, they're like, well, Christopher Walken's breaking these guys down. He's talking to the boyfriend, and the boyfriend's like, well, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it, or whatever. And then it's like, oh, it's the boyfriend. But then the brother jumps in. He's like, no, I talked the boyfriend into it. Okay. And then it's like, oh, so it was the brother who talked the boyfriend into it. And then all the shit happens. And then it's like, no, it was actually the boyfriend and the girlfriend. And that girlfriend never actually got kidnapped. And then Christopher Walken kills him anyway. It's like, it just got too, like.
And they tricked the brother. The brother got sucked into this by his sister and the other guy.
But these stupid assholes, they're not going to, they're not criminal geniuses. These are just that's part of the charm of the film, is that they're like kind of bumbling 20 or somethings that don't know what they're doing, and then it's like, oh, but actually we're mastered, blah blah blah.
It's not it was the girl. The girl and that's why Christopher Walken was like, you thought of this, didn't you? And she's like, yeah. And
regardless, I just thought it was too convoluted. I just thought it was to me it just ruined, because it's like you're looking for the guy in the room, and then they're like, oh, it was my cousin who lived next door. Like,
the only thing that I got confused by was when Dennis Leary went and beat the hell out of those guys in the strip club. Like, who were those guys?
They knew the contact of the two of
because I was like, the two guys that did it were the other guys that were in watching cartoons. But I was like, so who are those guys? Those guys were because when he beats him, he's like, you kidnapped blah 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 my boss or whatever. He's like beating the hell out of him. So they just happened to know who the people were.
They had the contact information for the kidnappers.
Yeah, because Dennis Leary, he said, he was like, you kidnapped Charlie or something, and while he's beating him, and I'm like, they didn't kidnap anybody. They're just scumbags at a strip club. That's weird.
But I mean, like it tried to pull this grand twist, and it just didn't pull it off. Like, the girlfriend, planned it, and it's like, and again, you don't feel bad for him, because like, oh, these two rich douchebags. This isn't Romeo and Juliet, like, these two 20-something rich douchebag people. Like, as much as I don't like the mafia, like most people in the mafia got to work for what they do. These fucking 20-year-old, like, rich fucking white people are just like, hey, give me some money, like, I can't have my dad's yacht. Like, I just don't feel bad for them, and it just it just kind of ruined for me at that point. Like, you're just waiting for Charlie to kill him.
That's kind of the charm of this movie, is they have you feeling sorry for the mob boss. Like, Christopher Walken is the hero of this movie. He's turned over a new leaf. He's trying to be a good guy, but you still don't want to mess with him. And then by the end of it, he's likable the whole movie. You like him, and then he gets out. And he goes and kills the people that messed with him, and you don't even feel bad
because he is a mob boss.
Yeah, because he is a terrible bastard. But you're like, yeah, that's right. They cut your finger off. They deserve it, and you're rooting for the bad guy, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But you see him in the hotel and the way he treats people, and he's trying to be Jimmy the Saint,
right?
What I mean?
Yeah, like, he's trying to get out.
Yeah,
and you brought him back in. Good point. Yeah, they forced him back in. He's like, I really didn't want to do this anymore. So
it's kind of a Bruce Banner thing. Like, don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. So the question remains: which one had the best story? I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with Suicide Kings. And what's your vote?
I mean, I still. Okay, so the question is, which one had the best story, not which one accomplished their story better.
Who had the best story? That is the question.
No, but I'm still gonna go with Denver, because it's not who had the most original story. Denver is not necessarily an original story; it's just done better. But it's still a better story. Like, it's still.
All right, that means we're in a deadlock. So we gotta get a little help from the chat. Anybody see these movies? Anybody know about these movies? And does anybody have an opinion? Otherwise, we're just going to call it a draw, and we'll move on to the next question, and nobody gets points.
What you got, Poopsy?
Yeah, Poopsie.
Help me out.
Seen neither, says Melissa. All right, Poopsie says Suicide Kings. Hey-oh! All right.
All right, fair enough.
It really is a better story. Whether it was executed,
I mean, it is a much more original story. Yes.
Yeah. Whether it was executed better is not the question. She got upset? Let's see here. All right. Cool. Suicide Kings is in the lead officially. I can't hear you, Curtis, because you muted yourself.
No, we're talking about Kid Throw Up.
Oh, no! Uh-oh.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, to be a parent. Oh, to be a parent. Hey, when does a regular joke become a dad joke?
I don't know.
When the punchline becomes apparent. All right. Who had the best cast? The best cast. This is a tough one. Holy crapadelic. This is gonna be a hard one. Two excellent casts. You got fuck. That one made me curse. Really, because I'm sitting here, I'm looking, and I'm like, dude, you got Christopher Walken, Dennis Leary, Jay Moore, Henry Thomas, Sean Patrick Flannery. I'm like, holy crap. Even on the second one, Brad Garrett. I mean, I'll show you, gang. Oh, I can't. Brad Garrett, Laura San Giacomo. She's in a whole bunch of stuff. And then I looked at Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Yeah, Andy Garcia, Christopher Walken.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Steve Buscemi, Christopher Lloyd, William Forsythe, Bill Nunn, Don Cheadle, Jenny McCarthy. I mean, it's... Jeez, dude. Fairuza Balk, Jack Warden, Glenn Plummer. All these people are good.
Yeah. I mean...
As much as the... Dude, both casts are very impressive. But I'm going to have to go with Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Takes it to the next level because you have people that are undiscovered. Well, both kind of undiscovered, but just having Andy Garcia, Christopher Walken, Steve Buscemi, Christopher Lloyd, and Don Cheadle, just them alone puts you over, and Guy Forsythe puts you over any cast I can think of. Like,
right?
Yeah, you add Fairuza Balk and Jenny McCarthy to the list. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, like, you know, Jay Moore has gone on to do some stuff, and what's his name? Rescue Me.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah, Dennis Leary. Rescue Me was amazing. He's gone on to do plenty. I mean, Flannery hadn't really done that. I mean, he's done stuff, but
he's in Boondock Saints.
Well, no, I know, but that's
he was in
what I mean.
Powder.
So, you know. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's still not Don Cheadle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're even William Forsythe, like Boondock Saints is amazing. I love Boondock Saints, but like it's not, you know, like the career wise, and it doesn't mean if you got even it's a small role, fairly small role, Christopher Lloyd in there, and Treat Williams, like doesn't mean like this is probably the best role that he's done. In my opinion, I haven't seen everything, of course, that he's done, but he was in a lot of stuff at that time, like a lot of stuff. And this is like, but to me, this is his wheelhouse. And yeah, I got to go with Denver
I
on
think
this one.
I'm things to do in Denver when you're dead. I agree with you. I think it's an impressive cast for Suicide Kings, but
Mhm.
like it's almost unmatchable. Like it's like
Yeah.
Andy Garcia, Christopher Walken, Steve Buscemi, Christopher Lloyd, Don Cheadle, William Forsythe. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, sorry, that's pretty much you can't mess with that. So
That's a royal flush right there. That's
that is it's pretty hard to beat that. All right, well, let's go to the next one. Which one was a better looking film?
hmm.
Prettier film. Oh boy.
I mean, there were no grand visual effects in either one of them. Um, they're both meant to be fairly realistic. Um,
I'm going with things to do in Denver when you're dead.
yeah, I mean, Suicide Kings had the chase scene in the tunnel, or what even a chase scene, but the scene in the tunnel, which was impressive. But like Denver, the way it switched back from basically the narrative was told whenever it wasn't being showed to you, and I don't know if this would be better looking, but it flowed better. It made more sense. But whenever you weren't watching what was happening on film, the narrative was told. And this is another symbolism thing from the people that were dying, the terminal patients that were
Yeah, yeah.
dying, and then basically the old mobster who had lived through it all. Like he found a way to get out and stay alive, and the optimistic views were told from the old mobster, whereas the pessimistic views were told by the people that were terminally ill and dying and stuff like that. And so, and I think the idea was that this mobster got out, and that's why everything was, and he'd tell you all the good stuff, and then the other terminal patients would like so that transition, that you know stuff made it more powerful, and and it was visual to a degree. So I'm gonna go with Denver as well.
I'm going Denver. There was some weird things in just right out of the gate. There was some graphics and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like some like overlay graphic things that were happening. That was cool. I was like, okay, this has definitely got a stylized look to it. But once it got going, it had some weird, almost handheld camera looking stuff that
Yeah.
looked cheap. It looked very cheap in comparison, and I don't know. It threw me off. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. And I mean, it was fine, but I noticed it looked kind of weird and jankety. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Like it was,
'Cause-
90s was whenever indie started to become a real thing. So I get it playing at the time, but now it was definitely much more. And they didn't have HD TVs and all the crap we got now. But so on a CRT, it might have been fine, but yeah, it was definitely a lot more noticeable now rewatching it.
Well, let's give the point to Denver then. All right, let's get that point there. Boom. That puts things to do in Denver when you're dead in the lead.
Got a 1 point lead. This is pretty close. All right.
Yeah. Who had the best music? Did you notice even? Did you even notice music?
I don't think I did for either.
I didn't either.
This might be a tie for me. Music.
I have zero recollection of any music in either movie.
I don't either. So yeah.
We'll just pass. We'll pass on that one. All right.
Yeah.
Which one had better acting? I do have an opinion on that one.
Okay, we'll go with it.
I will say, if I had to break it down, I would say that like Christopher Walken and Dennis Leary's acting really were fantastic. Like some of my favorite out of watching both movies, Christopher Walken in Suicide Kings, his his reactions to things, his probing these younger minds to manipulate them, all that. It was really the most impressive acting that I saw in both movies. Like Christopher Walken really shines in this movie, but I think as a whole, if I have to compare, like I felt like the performances were pretty piss poor. If you look at like
Mhm.
uh all of the 20 somethings involved, like especially Johnny Galecki, worried about mom's carpet shoes on the carpet, and like, oh guys, I mean, I was like, I could have walked in there and done better than that. Like Henry Thomas and Jay Moore, like over the top, like, oh, it just was like um there was a couple of times where I paused and thought, God, this is really shittily acted, really poorly done, like really poorly done. And then I look over at the wise master, Christopher Walken, and he has a twinkle in his eye. And that's the deal with like really
It's
good actors, is that they have a twinkle in their eye that sells it, and it's because when somebody sells it with their eyes, like he's really in character and
yeah,
really and can say something without even making an expression. His eyes look like a wise
yeah.
guy who understands the score of what's going on. Like he really sells it. But these other guys pulled him down, and when you take his same guy's asshole performance in Things to Do in Denver when you're dead, you take Andy Garcia's performance in Things to Do in Denver when you're dead, Gabrielle Anwar being just a lovely young lady who's falling for Andy Garcia's character, and just everyone involved, Christopher Lloyd, all these people that are in Things to Do in Denver when you're dead, across the board. William Forsythe, an ex screw up who's trying to do good because he's got a family. All these people involved. Now I will say Don Cheadle was pretty crappy. I
Yeah,
won't say
yeah.
crappy. It's like he was young,
Minimize. Yeah.
minimized, but he's like, yeah, don't mess with the boss or whatever. He was like, I was like, dude, that's really kind of an obnoxious like tag along character that he's playing. Probably the worst Don Cheadle use of Don Cheadle,
Yeah.
who not only played the goat, but he's one of them. Like he's really a fantastic actor. He
Yeah.
he played in a movie called The Goat a long time ago. But like but it was a basketball movie. It was Don Cheadle called The Goat. But like yeah, other than Don Cheadle's performance in that movie is what all of the 20 somethings performance in the other movie were. It was like, wow, this is a decent actor that that is playing a crappy role. Like this just sucks. But anyway, I'm going off the on a rant. Long story short, there's a lot of great actors in Things to Do in Denver when you're dead, and they all did a really good job. In Suicide Kings, there's some great actors, and only some of them did a good job. So I'm giving it to Things to Do in Denver when you're dead, because the whole cast was good.
Yeah.
I mean, Treat Williams playing a crazy guy, and he was, Bill Nunn, his friend who he keeps getting into fights with, like every character in this cast was even the Fairuza Balk playing a
Yeah.
druggy
Really, yeah.
hooker. You know what I mean? Like everyone. Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean you're preaching it. That's like, I think that a lot of Dennis Leary's lines were improvised, and it worked. And I could see, I don't know if this is true, but I could see a lot of Walken's lines being improvised, because, like you were saying, it's kind of like he's sitting there and he's just doing his thing, like he's an old veteran at this, and he's got these 20 somethings here, and he's just treating them like he would in any normal situation, and it carries over on film. I think that's why it works so well, because he's like you guys, you don't do it like this, like, or what, what, like, and it just carries over, because it's kind of really rings true. That aside, the other guys, they are acting, but in Things to Do in Denver, think about this: in any other role, or many other roles, William Forsythe plays a piece of shit, scumbag piece of shit. And in this one, he plays like you want him to live. Like whenever
Yeah.
Walken says he'll let him live, it's like because he's a family man now, and it's like he's like just let him live. Like he's got a family, blah. And Walken's like, okay, you think that's going to hold true? Um, and it doesn't. Spoilers. It's devastating. Um, and then you've got, um, like I said, Treat Williams. Like he was in a ton of stuff, and it was a lot of it was kind of campy stuff, kind of like and he does well in a lot of those roles. But this one has an over the top, like insane, like guy, like a violent person. Like it just really works well for him. It reminds me of, and it might be the haircut too, but when you saw Falling Down with
Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas, like it's not the same, but it kind of reminds. And again, they both have the flat top. It might be that, but just the you don't normally think of Michael Douglas in a role like that, and stuff, or certain thing. It's different, but like this really defined him to me. Like it made him like that was acting. Like he was acting his ass off in that film. Uh, Christopher Lloyd's always good, but that's the thing too. Like he's a guy he's like I've been falling apart my whole life. He's ready for death. Like he just like his role was great. Like all of them. I mean, like the acting was just so good. You can tell this was just a well cast movie and a well like written movie, and the actors did what they needed to do with it.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. So, do you agree with me that as far as the acting, the winner would be Things to Do in
Oh,
Denver? Denver
yes.
with
I'm sorry. Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Then we will give another point to Things to Do in Denver. Okay, coming in with a vengeance, jumping way into the lead. And who had better characters, which is a slightly different story. Slightly different. It's not the same as who acted better. It's who had better characters. And you got Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, where you got Jimmy the Saint, and you got Steve Buscemi playing Mr. And you got Pieces, a guy with leprosy, is losing limbs. You got a crazy guy named Critical Bill who flies off the handle and maybe eats poop and it's chewy. You got a lovely flower of Dagny, who's Gabrielle Anwar, who's being swept off her feet by Jimmy the Saint. You got Franchise, who is the dad trying to come straight. You got Easy Wind, who is Bill Nunn. You got a hooker named Firuza Balk. You got a nurse who's Jenny McCarthy. You got all these characters. You got Baby Sinister, who's the mobster trying to hide Easy Wind. So that's who you got over here. Then on the other team, you got Suicide Kings. You got Christopher Walken, who's a mob boss trying to go straight. You got Dennis Leary. Then you got a bunch of 20-something-year-old crybabies, really. And then then you got a couple of incompetent mob guys watching TV, and you have Sean Whalen, who's the Widowmaker, who's basically the Steve Buscemi of card dealers.
Yeah, yeah.
My vote again is Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. If you look at the character, you want to say characters, I think there's a whole bunch more exciting, interesting characters in this movie. So that's my vote. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that so much more could have been done with the Suicide Kings characters. I think that the doctor guy did have a distinct character. The one that wanted to be a doctor and was kind of hooked on drugs, but they didn't really explore that as much as they could have. Like Christopher Walken breaking him down and kind of figuring that out would have been great. The other guys, you know, like you could have interchanged them for any story arc, whatever. They're 20-something rich kids,
Yeah.
and one of their sisters got kidnapped. Like if and again, if the ending had gone differently, then it could have been more character driven as well. But since you basically blame it on the person who was never in the movie hardly, like that's like it doesn't pan out. Like, it's well, all these characters you've been paying attention to don't matter because the inside person was the one that wasn't in the movie hardly. Like, it doesn't. It's like a fucking reminds me of I Know What You Did Last Summer 2 or 3, some like one of those crappy sequels where it's like, it was my cousin's sister. Bum, bum, bum. It's like, oh, okay, like, we don't know who that is, but
So which
uh,
one had the best characters?
yeah, I got to go with Denver. I mean, even like I said, something like making the man with the plan paralyzed for a purpose. And Bernard, we keep forgetting about Bernard, like the guy's son. Like, I honestly think
Oh
rewatching it,
yeah.
I think they put the child molestation scene at the beginning just to make you not hate Andy Garcia for killing Bernard. Because imagine if that scene wasn't there and Andy Garcia killed Bernard, like, you'd be like, God damn. I mean, I know Andy Garcia is dying, but Bernard, like, he was a good dude. So I think they purposefully put that scene there
I
just to
think you're
make you hate
right.
Bernard. Like, because otherwise, like, you just felt for Bernard so bad. He just got his heart broken, and he's even like going to Jimmy the Saint, being like, "Yeah, just go bowling with me. Just go bowling with me." Now Jimmy the Saint's already got a death warrant on his head, but like, Jimmy the Saint could have saved him a long time ago, maybe, or something like that. And it's like, other than that, like, Bernard's like just this sad character except for that first scene. And I think they put that in because, like, people watching it was like, oh God, why did he kill Bernard? Like, oh, I feel so bad for Bernard. You know?
I think they could have done it where they could have done it to where he wasn't a child molester. He was just a broken-hearted guy,
Yeah.
and then had Christopher Walken kill his girlfriend for
Mm-hmm.
screwing up his son's situation. He to get evil. He kills Gabrielle Anwar's character, uh, and then to get vengeance
Then
for
yeah,
then he goes and kills his son and ends up knows he's going to get killed himself. That's how it. But that'd be hardcore to do
yeah,
all that. So you're right. So if you don't do that, then and you let the girl live. Also, the recording before he gets killed, Andy Garcia goes to his own business and records his own message, one to his kid that he's leaving. Do you think that there's a dual purpose message? He's leaving it to his kid and he was leaving it to Gabrielle and to Dagny.
I think so too, because honestly, and I wonder if the kid thing was kind of tacked on as well, because to me that just seems like bad judgment. Like, like, I think Veruza Balk did a spectacular job in this role, but such a good job. It's like, she's not going to get clean, and you're going to give her your kid. Like, like, that just seems like a terrible idea. And
Yeah,
he tells her, like, the doctor said I was going to die. So I think you're right. I think that he originally, like, maybe there were rewrites or whatever, reshoots, and it seemed like that was meant for um, Dagby, you know, uh, and but then they kind of switched it once that scene happened, or maybe that was originally written. But either way, like, that's just bad judgment. Like, don't
yeah,
don't. There's so many people in the world that bring kids in the world being like, a kid will fix my life, and it just doesn't work. Hey, guess what? Instead of being a shitty person, now you're a shitty parent.
yeah.
Like, and that's a huge difference. So, like, that, I didn't really like that part. And now the movie shows that it seemingly did work, but in
Yeah,
real
she
life,
moved to Florida, man. That's
yeah,
what happens if
yeah,
when
because
all else
there's no
fails.
hookers in Florida.
Because there's no bath salts or meth in Florida.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Um,
but so I think you're right. Like, I think there were certain or changes made or something like that, but regardless, I still think Denver gets this one.
yeah. Well, that was characters, and I already gave them the point for that, so we're good
Okay.
there. So, which movie makes you want to get to take karate lessons more? Boy, that's interesting.
Maybe you could have beaten Dennis Leary with karate. but
S-
then
Maybe
again,
if you knew karate, you could have taken those guys out in the car. Maybe.
yeah, that's something like or definitely gotten by shush. If and I love how Treat Williams like is like your reputation it definitely exceeds you or something like you are not that badass like basically um
Who said that?
Treat Williams but Critical Bill whenever he like
Oh
whenever he
yeah,
takes him
yeah,
down he's like your reputation is blown out of proportion or something
yeah. That was a
like,
good line. Then he gets
but
capped.
yeah but so maybe he could have taken down Mr. Shush or yeah Mr. Shush uh
So
I'm
who?
gonna go
Yeah.
and you might have been able to like karate kick that gun out of or that knife out of Bill's hand or something like that. So I'm gonna go Denver.
I'm going Suicide Kings, dude. If Christopher Walken knew karate, he wouldn't have gotten into this mess. He could have karateed those guys in the car.
He almost did. So yeah. Okay, I'll go Suicide with you. Yeah,
Also,
'cause, yeah,
if
he always
he almost did. Also, if somebody comes at me with a toaster, I'm gonna need some damn karate to get me out of that one. So
yeah homemade brass knuckles. Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome. We're going Suicide, and I also need Suicide Kings to get a point.
No, but that's a good point. Yeah, he basically almost took him off the road. No karate involved, and like if he knew karate, then
If he just had a little karate,
yeah.
it'd be over. It'd have been this movie. It'd have been a 15-minute movie. It'd have been done. All right.
Really want to win that car. Have you ever seen Christopher Walken on Saturday Night Live?
No,
It is one of the best things in the history of the world. Go YouTube it.
I've seen Christopher Walken doing the cowbell, of course.
Yeah, but no, whenever the census taker walks up and it's Christopher Walken living in the building, he's like, sir, hey, I'm with the U.S. Census, blah blah blah. And he's like, how many people live in this residence? He's like, 2, or maybe 100. I don't know. I haven't checked. Then he's like, he asks him all these questions, and he's like, okay, sir, it's just a census. Like, you don't have to worry, blah blah. And he's like, he asks him another question. He's like, I don't know. Maybe this one. I really want to win that car. And he's like, there's no cars. I don't know what you're talking about.
Apparently, I gotta go watch that.
It's the best thing ever.
That was a good walk-in, by the way. Good job.
Thank you.
So which
Such a good actor.
so which one of these movies would cheer you up more?
Suicide would definitely cheer me up more. Denver's a spectacular movie, but it's a downer.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So Suicide coming back with the things to do in it's because it adds the love story aspect, and
just
and
I remember seeing it when I was younger, like, and I remember Easy Money, or what was his name? I remember him getting shot up the asshole. I like that's what I remember from this movie, getting shot up the asshole.
Easy
it's
win.
like shit and razor, yeah. And it's like I don't want to get shot up the asshole. Like that's what I remember from this movie. Like it's what it that's what it like that's what it is.
You
and
just
it's
say
like,
buckwheats is what that's called.
yeah. Well, nobody's gonna know that. Like
yeah, if they've seen, they know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Buckwheats.
Like in this scene, they show it real quick. It's just, and it was like, oh my god! Like whenever I was a kid, I was like, yo, no thanks, no thanks on that one.
That's what buckwheats is.
Yeah,
yeah. You get shot up the butt. That's not good. The reason is because you don't die immediately. You bleed out for a long time. It's a slow, painful death. Terrible. Buckwheats. All right. So right now our points.
We're tied up. No.
We're 4-5.
Okay.
Things to do in Denver when you're dead is ahead. Which one of these movies makes a better Christmas movie? Oh boy, this is a stupid question.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go Suicide again because, like, yeah, at least it like if you turn it off right before Christopher Walken shows up, it's a happy ending. Like,
I,
whereas Denver, like, if you, I guess technically, if you turn it off right after he kills Bernard, it's a happy ending, but
I,
not
th-
really.
I think you missed the point of Suicide Kings is that it is a happy ending when he kills them at the end because they're the ones that caused all his problems. He's not the bad guy. That's a
No, I
happy
know,
ending.
I know he's not the bad guy, but like, it's
I'm like,
just,
hell yeah, kill those guys. They cut your finger off. You see the sweet vengeance.
and you do, but it's like not. But you didn't want
I did.
like
I
like
wanted them
like
to get
part of.
capped.
No, yeah, I'm fine with them getting capped. It's but part of you didn't want Christopher Walken reverting to that character. You know that he had been a whole different character the entire movie, and he didn't want to go back to that character. And then at the end he does, and it's good that he does. I'm not arguing that, but it gets so convoluted that
They
like,
cut his finger off, dude.
yes, I know they deserve. I'm not saying they deserve to die. That's they deserve to be dead. These fucking spoiled rich ass kids, like,
Just
and
like
and it,
just like in
and then
True Romance, I haven't killed anybody since 1987 or whatever, 1983.
yeah, and then well, and the two schlubs watching cartoons, like they died for nothing. Like they didn't even kidnap anybody, and they got shot in the head. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like so those sons of bitches deserve to die. Don't get me wrong, but like it just like by that point it had already gotten so because like I said, it was like the boyfriend did it, and then it was like no, it was a brother who talked the boyfriend into it, and then it was like no, it was actually the girlfriend who talked the boyfriend into tricking the brother to think that the boyfriend did, and it was just like I don't like I don't care anymore. Like, but to me, Suicide Squad or Suicide Kings is at least fun. It's a very fun movie. It's and again, like you said, it is just the parts with walking and these young kids is just enjoyable, almost without end. Those parts make it like
a better Christmas
it's
movie,
a mafia Christmas.
and also tie it up. They tie it up, so now we are tied, which brings us to the next one.
Snappity dap.
Which one is the better date movie?
Ooh. Okay, so here's the question. So now, if you're dating a young lady, if you're a young man dating a young lady, Suicide Squad is much more ends up being it's much more fun.
Is it because of Harley Quinn or is it because of a Deadshot?
Damn it! Did I say it again?
Yeah.
Suicide Kings. Thank you. Is I've been doing that all week. It's but my wife was like, "You're watching Suicide Squad versus what?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." But so Suicide Kings is a much more fun movie, and if you're younger, now I don't know, they might watch this 30-year-old movie and be like, "This is okay," but let's pretend that young people think alike, and they might be like, "Okay, it is very much more Romeo and Juliet." Okay, so there's that
Which
aspect for
one?
Suicide Kings. Suicide Kings is much more, because our parents won't let us be together and blah blah blah, and we will do anything to be together, even kidnap a mobster and blame my brother and all this stuff. Whereas, Denver it's much more of an older story. It's the Andy Garcia. It seems like he's been with many women, but he hasn't been in love many times, and he finds love, but he finds it right before he's going to die, and there's he even the scene where notice right after Bernard comes in and goes like she's missing the girl that got shot, his ex-girlfriend Meg. He's like she's missing. He's like if or something like that, and he's like I don't care. Like she can tell me she hates me. I can go to hell. She's happy now. As long as she's happy, her happiness is more important to me than my happiness. And Andy Garcia is like that's super or that's very noble, And Bernard like is like yeah I could be noble. I could be like that. Well, and then after that notice is when Andy Garcia goes to the guy Alex that's engaged or quasi engaged or asked Dagby to marry him. And he's like, "Here, give her this ring. Like, this is a badass ring. I bought this ring for her. You give her this ring," because he realizes, yeah, that's right. Her happiness is more, as long as she's happy, then I'm okay. Like, everything's okay.
And I'm not gonna be
And
around
like,
very long anyway.
yeah, like I'm going downtown anyway. Like, and like that's beautiful too. It's just a more, you know,
So which one's a better date movie?
corrupted beauty. That's what I mean. I don't know. Like, if you're dating a young lady, I don't think a young man or a young lady is not going to get the intricacies of that in Denver, because they think that love is this ethereal thing. It's like, oh, just catch it.
What if you're dating an old lady? You don't
Where,
have to be dating a young lady.
well, that's fine. So if you're dating an old lady,
I'm single. I
then
could
you're-
go on a
then-
date tomorrow.
Then
There
go
are
for
many-
Denver.
There are
Like,
many young
that's
ladies that
fine.
aren't going to go out with me anymore anyway.
Well, that's fine. Then take him to see Denver. I'm just like, I'm saying for argument's sake. I'm not saying nobody talking about you, buddy. Get over.
So which one? You just talk, but so which one would be a better date movie? Do you think?
So that's what I mean. So I would say overall, I'm going to say Denver. I mean, if you're dating a young lady, probably bring her to Suicide Kings, but just in general, like, Denver is, I don't know about a true love story, but it makes more sense. It's more love is more complicated than that, you know. Like, she likes the Alex guy; he's probably better for her, but she doesn't thump for him like he says. You know, he doesn't. People make you feel a certain way, but you got to remember that the thump wears off. You know, like it lessens over time. They even say that in that's what's great too with the interviews with the terminal people. She's like, love is a beautiful thing. It's the most powerful thing in the world. And like, but it does wear off, and it's like it becomes a relationship. It's like it becomes a partnership, you know. And so Denver, I would say, is if you want to bring a girl to see guys getting shot up the asshole, bam, that's your movie.
Buckwheat.
But it's just
that's what you do. You say, "You coming over to my place, honey," or else buckwheats.
It's just gonna be like,
I
didn't know. I don't know.
That's threatening. That's not right. You can't threaten people with buckwheats, Clint. That's not okay. Here's
canceled.
Versus is canceled. Why? Because Clint hypothetically talked about buckwheats. Buckwheats. If
hypothetical buckwheats.
I say that Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead is a better date movie. Why? Because Andy Garcia has so many pimp ass moves that he pulls in that.
It really does.
And you know what I would do after the movie? I would be quoting Andy Garcia. I would be like, "You make me thump," or you know, like, it'd quote anything. Drop the date off and then be like, "Hey, I don't kiss on the first date," and then I'd wait till 12:02 and I'd knock on the door. Technically, it's the next day, and you know, then she probably slammed the door in my face. But maybe she pulled me in. I don't know, you know. Yeah. But there's so many suave moves, and that would be a fun game to play. You just use those lines on her. She knows you just stole them from the movie because she just saw the movie with you. But that makes it endearing. Is that, oh, he thinks he's suave like Andy Garcia. This guy's so pathetic. I guess I'll throw him a bone. You know. So I would think that I could.
And that's the thing too,
that I could pull that off.
It's a
whether it would work or not is a different story, but I definitely could see myself quoting the movie to my date. So I say that it's a better date movie. Go ahead.
It's not a super hit, and it's a 30-year-old movie now. So those lines are up for grabs. I'm just saying, like, they're out there. Like,
it's no fun. It's no fun if I say them like they're my own. But if I say them and the date knows where you got the line, then it makes it fun.
Right. Once you got her and she's used to you and you've kind of farted around her, then you put on Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. And she's like, "You motherfucker. You stole all those lines from Andy Garcia." And you're like, "Yeah, what you going to do now? Yeah, I'm bathing your cat tomorrow. So what's up? You going to leave me?"
My way is to see the movie. She sees it too. then we go out for dinner.
You gotta trap them.
No, we go out to dinner, and then I quote those lines to her, and it makes her roll her eyes at me, and that's how it goes. Like you get the eye roll. I'm going for the eye roll.
There's no reason for any woman to ever be with a man. Period. So you got to trap them. That's the only way it works.
Trap them.
Like lesbians make perfect sense to me. Why would any woman want to be with a man? There's no reason whatsoever. You got to trap them. It's got to be a trap.
Dude, if you saw the last Boys episode, the song that they were saying, anyway, it was pretty hilarious.
I know what you're talking.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's singing a song. It was funny. All right, let's move on. Let's see. So, I said things to do in Denver. What did you think?
Yeah. Oh, I said Denver. Yeah.
Okay, so points. Denver is at it again. Good old Denver, scoring big, Denver style.
And again, when are you going to see a mobster movie based in Denver? Just think about that.
This is true. Which fight had better stunts and choreography? I'm going to have to go with Suicide Kings based on the Christopher Walken trying to fight his way out of the car.
Yeah. Yeah, basically based on the tunnel scene. Yeah. I mean, and then honestly, Rescue Me beating him with the toaster, and like there's a couple. I mean, it's not necessarily fight choreography, but there wasn't a lot of that in Denver because it didn't need that much. But yeah, Suicide Kings for sure.
Yeah, just for the stunt driving, and so now they're tied again. Ooh, it's a close.
That probably cost them the most money. That's why they couldn't pay for acting lessons, because they like did that scene in the Lincoln Tunnel and like lost all their budget.
Which movie made you hungrier?
You know what? Suicide Kings. Honestly, I remember being a 20-year-old man and like they got some, like I literally, I didn't even think about this question. I thought about this when I watched the movie. They got like a 6-pack of beer and like some chips, and they're 20-year-old men. Like when you're 20, like as a man, you don't stop growing until you're like, late 20s or 30s, or 30, and like just being, it's like being a teenage boy, like you're just hungry nonstop. And they got like a couple bags of chips and like a 6-pack of beer, and it's like, what good is that gonna do anybody? And I was just thinking, like, what are they gonna eat? Like, because I know it's a house, but it's like a summer house that they don't have a bunch of food in. Like, I want some meat like that. Yeah. And then in Denver, they go to the malt shop every day. They got to be something to eat there. So I'm gonna go with Suicide Kings.
I'm gonna have to go with things to do in Denver. He had so many of those milkshakes that I just kept craving ice cream when I was watching that.
And you wanted to eat some ass like Critical Bill. You're like, yeah, that made me hungry.
It's spongy.
Nice and spongy.
It's spongy. Gross.
He didn't tell the whole story, man. I got $500.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So you said things to do in Denver, or you said Suicide Kings.
I said Suicide Kings.
And I said so we're gonna that one gets
double
stalemate. So on that, so which movie do you think holds up better?
I'm gonna say this one's kind of. I say Denver.
I say Denver
because
too.
It's not. Suicide is very 90s, and I appreciate it for that. Again, but Denver is. It could be.
It could have been 80s too.
Yeah, it could have been 80s. It could have been it could have been 2010s. Like if you don't know, I don't know what Denver looks like. If you don't know what Denver looks like, it could be like anytime. But they don't have cell phones and all that shit. But it's still like, yeah, I'm gonna go Denver.
I'm going Denver too. So let's get the point on that one. Bam. Awesome, man. Denver racking up the points.
They're only ahead by one though.
Who had a more tragic life?
Uh,
um, I'm gonna have to go Denver.
yeah, all of Jimmy Saint's, and even Jimmy Saint technically, but all of his team was like, and honestly, I kind of knew. I started to remember the movie a little bit whenever I was watching it, and whenever Critical Bill kills that guy, Jimmy Saint should have been like told, William Forsythe's character, like, go home now, you weren't here. Like, go home now, you weren't here. Like, you got a family, get the fuck out of here, go home. Like, this has gone to shit, go home. Those guys like had it. And they were doing a mob job. They're going to beat up this guy for no reason. But I don't feel bad for the rich white kids. I just don't.
No, me neither. And I don't feel bad for Christopher Walken in Suicide Kings either, because in the end he's a scumbag who got messed with because of karma probably, and he ended up killing them anyway. So like, no harm, no foul. It probably reattached his finger, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. Well, they show him. Yeah, it's on there. They don't show him moving, but yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, so it's fine. Andy Garcia, you love the guy, and he gets completely screwed, and the girl gets screwed. Everybody gets screwed, including Fairuza Balk, who's having his kid. Like, I think there's more tragedy in Andy Garcia. Jimmy the Saint, having things go because he didn't want it either. He didn't ask for it. It just kind of happened, just fell in his lap. So, all right. Let's see here.
And he could have walked away too. They told him, he was like, get out of here, just get away. But he didn't leave his guys, man.
Yeah. Or his girl, like he might have been able to bring her with him, but okay. Woo-wee. All right, things to do in Denver is really picking up steam. Okay, this one's easy. Who had the better villain? Buckwheat.
Yep. The man with a plan.
The Christopher Walken in Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead was the ultimate
evil son of a bitch.
Yeah. Like big time.
Just die, dude. Just like, why don't you die? Like, yeah, that was pretty easy. And the villain in Suicide Kings is kind of even hard to tell. I guess it was the girl who was not again. Like,
well, which movie deserves a sequel?
Well, everybody's dead in Denver, so I mean, I could see an older version. Actually, I would like to see an older version of Suicide Kings happening, where those characters are dead, and Charlie comes back and he's like, "I got a job for you guys, the ones that are alive," and now they're all better actors, and they're older. Everybody's older, and Charlie's like, Denver afterlife, Mel says. But they're all older, and Charlie's like, you know what? I didn't kill y'all's asses. Now you owe me, and they got to do a job, and they screw it up again, and they act like a better acting version of their 20-year-old selves, and I could see that working.
What about a movie where you have like Fairuza Balk, you see what happened to her son, and they grown up, and Things to Do in Denver When You're Alive or something, and maybe they have somebody like Austin Butler or somebody playing Andy Garcia's son, who comes back. And then
I want to see Elvis playing. Yeah,
I'm just
cheating
thinking,
now. That's cheating.
Like just a young guy with his hair slicked back who looks Andy Garcia-esque, who comes back and maybe
Things to Do in Florida When You're Alive.
Gets even. Goes and
I could see that. Okay, shit. All right. Denver Afterlife.
Yeah, goes and gets even, and I don't know, Denver Afterlife. maybe all of William Forsythe's
Oh yeah,
kids grow
and
up.
he recruits all of William Forsythe's fucking kids, and they're like,
Yeah.
you know,
And
dude, that'd be awesome.
yeah, but like who are they gonna get? Because Christopher Walken by that point will be old and dead. So and then and the child
Yeah,
molester
well,
kid
yeah.
is dead. So there's not anybody to get even with. You need somebody to go get vengeance against.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
So I guess that makes it crappy.
Just go kill Jenny McCarthy. I guess that's what they do.
I I like your idea of Christopher Walken coming back and hiring these guys,
yeah,
and they don't want to, but
Yeah.
they
they're
have
like
to do it.
businessmen and like
You know what it is? You know what that is?
what?
That idea is basically things to do in Denver when you're dead. By this point, Christopher Walken's old and surly, and they're like, "No, we're legit." And he's like, "No, you got to do this job.
Wow.
It's not a job. It's just a
Repayment.
it's just a task. It's not a job. Like what? Yeah, I
Things
need
to
you
do
to do
in
this.
Denver is a sequel
It's a sequel.
to Suicide King.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll say Suicide Kings deserves the sequel.
Me too.
We just
yeah.
just discovered something.
The doctor becomes pieces because nobody can figure out why he's like falling apart. Like, and then
Actually,
oh, wow.
actually, Christopher Walken is pieces because his finger fell off.
Well,
just kidding. All right, let's see which movie deserves a sequel. We just did that, dummy. If you're on a flight and you only had time for one movie, which one would you pick? This is a good one because on a flight, what do you feel like watching? Do you feel like watching?
I'd rewatch Denver again. I mean, I really like. I hadn't seen it for 20 years or something, and but at the same time, like, I don't want people looking over and seeing the scene with the buckwheats.
They can't
So
see that.
I might go suicide. I might go Suicide Kings. Like that's just such a like that was a life altering scene. Like I got it. You know what? I need to stay straight because somebody's gonna shoot me up the ass. like I'm gonna be. I'm gonna straight and narrow from here on out. Like.
I think I'd have to go with Things to Do in Denver when you're dead because I don't think I could stomach all of the shitty acting from the 20-something rich kids. Yeah, that would be a bummer. Even though I really loved the twinkle in Christopher Walken's eye throughout those scenes, like
Yeah, you
could tell he was having fun making that movie. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with if I was on a plane, I could only watch one of them. It would be Things to Do in Denver when you're dead.
And yeah, I like I want to rewatch it more. I think there's a lot more symbolism going on there that I even missed the second time around, second or third, whatever it is. But at least second time around, and like it seems like a really strong movie that just kind of got swept under the rug, and it's very very good.
Yeah, and there's a charming like romance to it, almost like True Romance
Really?
or something with him and the girl and the way it's all going, and it just doesn't work out. But it's like it's cool. It's got a good feel in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff that makes you feel bad. There's some feel good elements to the movie, and I think that's it's a complicated movie, and because it's got a whole bunch of things going on, and it makes it good.
Yeah, yeah, like real life people. Like that's these are my buddies. Like I'm gonna, like yeah, you're gonna kill me if I don't leave. And like that's one of the strongest points I think is like Christopher Walken says, you get the fuck out of here now, and I'll never look for you. You're just gone, blah blah. But the rest of your friends are buckwheats. And he's like, I hired these guys. These are my buddies. Like I am not. I can't do it. Like if they're going down, I'm going down with them. Like
Yeah.
and that's like this one of the strongest. Like he's he's got the love story between the girl and the stuff too, but he's got the love story between his buddies. Like he's just like they've always been there for me, and none of them will take his fucking money.
Yeah,
Like
that's
this
the
thing,
other
he's
thing.
like,
Yeah.
like he's like, here's my money. That's your boat money. I'm not taking your fucking boat money, dude. Like get out of here. Like you go live on a boat and be happy. Like like even though they know they're gonna die. Like.
and any normal person would be like, no, this was your fault. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
for pulling me into this, I was doing just fine till you hired me for
Yeah.
this thing. Only the crazy one who's like, what? This is your fault. I mean, you did make me the
Yeah.
and he's like,
After
he's like, you motherfucker,
just look-
you're the one who fucked this up. And
he just he's looking at because he specifically asked him. Remember, he's like, "Can I just please be a cop? Can I just please be a cop?"
please.
And he's just the way he's looking at him, like
He's like, okay, fine, but you don't say a word. And of course, he says a word. He's the one who screwed everybody.
yeah,
Is that guy, Treat
that's
Williams?
Treat
is
Williams,
Critical
baby.
Bill really ruined everything for everyone. That guy might have still the guy driving the van that who was kind of a cocky prick from California. He might have still screwed things up for Christopher Lloyd's character by being like, "You're not a real cop," kind of a situation.
But if Easy had been there, it might have been a different story.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like, dude, it's kind of your fault. I mean, everybody knows I'm off nuts. Like, you put me out as a cop. It's like he's like,
why would you do that,
son of a bitch,
you
dude.
motherfucker?
He's like, yeah,
and he's just like, yeah, you're right, man. Like, yeah.
It's pretty funny. Oh man, well shoot. So, and did I just give the point? I don't know if I just gave the point. It doesn't
No, I don't
matter.
think you did.
It doesn't matter if I give.
But it's another one for suicide or Denver.
Yeah, it was Denver. Give the point here.
Night of the Denver Dead, and then Andy Garcia comes back and kills and eats the brains of old Christopher Walken. Night of the Denver Dead.
Well, gang, I think it is safe to say. Look at this color scheme here too. Everything looks really matching, looking good with the red chairs, red curtains, red background, yellow text with the yellow rock hands and all. It's a really looking good. I want to throw some props to Chris Klink from CK Graphics. Yes, sir. He's been making these verses thumbnails for us. Good buddy of mine forever, and I'm glad he watches the show and enjoys the show enough to keep watching and to help us with these thumbnails, because this looks fantastic. So thank you, Chris, for your hard work on that.
I hope to meet him one day. I hope to meet him one day.
Yeah. Well, man. So next week,
I think we got to do Annihilation versus Arrival, dude.
Yeah, and well, real quick, we got to do the winner.
Oh yeah.
Is things to do in Denver when you're dead. Let's do some celebration music. Yeah, celebrate! Things to do in Denver when you're dead, starring Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
Yes. Andy Garcia, Christopher Walken, Steve Buscemi, Christopher Lloyd, Treat Williams, Gabrielle Anwar, William Forsythe, Bill Nunn, Farouza Balk, John Cheadle, Jenny McCarthy. The list goes on and on. Go check it out if you've never seen it. It's a great movie.
It is very good.
It is. And let's see here. So what's next? What is our next movie?
Well,
are we doing?
We talked about a bunch of them.
We're talking about It's either Quicksilver versus a Premium Rush, or we can do Memento versus Clean Slate.
Well, next Friday is literally Kevin Bacon's birthday.
Oh, that's right. Then that's why we're doing.
Yeah, appreciate bacon.
Hold on here. I'm gonna drop the graphic here. We're gonna put this on the screen. I should have had this ready to go, but we kind of ran over on the news today, on the news talk.
Standing on the rooftop, shouting out, "Baby, I'm ready."
Oh, that's a good
go.
song.
That is. Who sings that?
Republica? Is it that?
That sounds correct.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Republica. How did I? Not Elastica. That's one of my faves, though. You remember Elastica?
That's
Remember that one? That was a
yeah.
very Beavis.
And then what about the new Beavis and Butthead movie? Then
Look at that. Quicksilver versus Premium Rush. Kevin
Bum,
Bacon versus
bum,
Gordon Levitt.
Looper. Say Looper.
We'll just call him Looper. Young Bruce Willis. Man, who's win? Who can pedal faster? Find out next week. Next Friday on Versus. Quicksilver versus Premium Rush. Who has the sharper sprocket? Whose chain is lubed up more? Who has better forks?
And
who gives a fork? That's what I'm saying. Hey-o! All right.
we will have Lance Armstrong here with us, determining who is the better bikist.
Did you say bikist?
Yes.
All right.
Bikerist. Biker driverist.
Who almost dies more? Yes. Great show, guys, says Mel. Who almost dies more? Question of the that's really the question when you're Chris just said okay, and I don't know when he said that. Hey, thanks for doing the graphics. Okay.
He says, I thought it was a joke. I'm in.
You made the fucking graphic. Why would you make joke graphics for us to share on I thought this was a joke. Yeah, Kevin Bacon birthday, your idea.
Yeah.
We said okay.
And we'll be talking all things Kevin Bacon. It's Appreciate Bacon Week. It's his birthday. The man who made the game. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's that Footloose versus Foot Fist Way.
Foot Fist Way?
Isn't that a kung fu movie? Foot Fist Way.
Sounds like a porno movie. Happy late birthday, Mel.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Happy late birthday.
My dad's birthday was yesterday. Hey-o.
Happy late birthday, Papa Clint.
Yes, sir. Well, it looks like we got sucked into doing a movie about bike messengers over a joke that was not not intended to be a real thing because that's a good idea. So that's what we're doing next week for Kevin Bacon's birthday. The good news is I like bicycles, so there you go. Yeah, Danny McBride, Foot Fist Way.
Bicyclist. That's what it is. Bicyclist.
Bikist.
There you go.
All right.
Bicyclist. I figured it out.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Papa Baker. Awesome, man. Well, happy birthday, Mel. Happy birthday next week for Kevin Bacon. And either... How long can we pause? Either we'll be doing...
I thought you froze.
Either we can do Quicksilver versus Premium Rush, or we'll find some other Kevin Bacon goodness. But I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing because that's what we just said.
Yeah, so. that'll be our overall kind of thing. But we'll talk plenty of Kevin Bacon.
Cool. I mean, because who doesn't want to watch a movie about
bike messengers. I mean,
exactly. All right, gang.
It's a whole genre. It's a whole genre to itself.
It's a niche genre that we've been looking for. Guys, be sure to subscribe. There you go. And we're going to see you next week. We appreciate you being here. And holy smokes, man. We'll see you soon.
I love you all.
You going to give him a salute?
Did you? Well, I was, but then Charlie stole my salute earlier, so this money thing.